back. It's another day of kicking some heretic ass. You know, the usual. Alright. If I talk to the governor, does that start everything with like the Dark Eldar? Because if it does, then I probably should go to other planets and deal with other crap first. Hmm. Well, we'll see. If I fuck it up, then I fuck it up. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. Mark von Valancius, 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the Sacred Warrant, and ruler of the Coronis Expanse. From the Cranach system to the Hundred Dreams Crossroads, I bid you welcome. Urban Drive Stem. Governor of this great world, first and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valancius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. Your citizens of Dargonis and of the entire Proctorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of a beloved lady. The governor glances at Kybella anxiously, then immediately averts his gaze. Then he looks at her again, but when Kybella lets out a grim chuckle and stretches her lips daubed in fresh blood into a petrifying grin, the governor turns away from her sharply, all but squealing in fear. It's all the same to me. Do as you see fit. I will immediately give all necessary instructions, your lordship. He casually presses a few buttons on the cogitator built into his gold bracer. Esteemed Baron, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on her wisdom and persevere in spite of this tragedy, together, and let us carry on where she no longer can, by leading the von Valancius Proctorate to even greater prosperity.
Drivestone gives you a look of admiration. It seems that he is quite aware of your fame, and this opportunity to curry favor with such an eminent figure is one he does not wish to miss. Uh,
Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonis flew into a rage and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonis Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the Von Valancius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk.
um, Tell me about yourself and House Drivestem.
It would be my pleasure to enlighten you. My house is the oldest and most respected on Dargonis. My ancestors walked side by side with yours for many generations as they cared for this world's welfare. Our duty is to supervise the governing bodies within the systems subservient to you, and we are responsible for the project's logistics and economic stability. As for me personally, I am a humble servant of the Emperor and a loyal subject of the rogue trader, and to my great pleasure, I have the honor of calling myself Lady Theodora's close friend.
At Urban's last words, Abelard lets out a sound that could be interpreted as either a snort or a cough. Urban gives him a look which Abelard meets with an expression of utter nonchalance. What exactly? Well, I would like to complete my inauguration as Rogue Trader as soon as possible. When is the ceremony?
I'm afraid that until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable. The central worlds of the blah, 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 Von Valancius Proctorate are going through a crisis, and the warp disturbances, if void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital.
What exactly do the Dargonis nobility expect from me in light of the loss of routes in communication with other worlds?
We are all troubled by the fate of the ivory world Janus, that supplied Dargonis and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world of Viabos 6, one of the key mining suppliers in your proctorate.
Such intriguing concern for the Viabos 6 outpost. Does your house happen to own the extraction stations there? Drystem's beady eyes widen in fear.
Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decision in any way. You see, without Viabos 6, the manufactorums on your worlds will need to make haste to find new supplies elsewhere and arrange for new shipments. And in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the Von Valancius dynasty.
That does it for the planets and trade routes. What else?
Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin.
He rubs the bridge of his nose warily.
Otherworldly beasts are not an uncommon sight in the Coronis expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades, but now those abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonis. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the drained psychers, although those that remain are as of yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and
offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Viabo 6 has been of particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. Now, to issues on a smaller scale, there is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox succession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprising are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nonetheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? Command the spinners of the blood. 11. Ooh, that's interesting. I can set assassins on them. I care not for what those hyenas are yapping about behind my back. Leave them be. They're no threat to me.
A noble decision, your lordship. Let us hope that others do not mistake your magnanimity for weakness. And one last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time, and I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you are intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, boasted by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented on Dargonis by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem.
Yeah, about that. Your presumption is wrong. I will bestow this honor upon the Worsarians. Abelard turns to you and bows respectfully.
Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor for the Worsarian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you.
Drivestem tosses Abelard a look that lacks even the smallest shred of respect.
Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Worsarians, whose lineage traces back to a navy officer, are not of the Dargonis nobility. Such decisions may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship.
Drivestem face breaks into a bitter smile.
I shall immediately relay your commands, most gracious Lord Rogue Traitor. Thank you for your time.
That will be all, I take it?
Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Dumb fat sack of shit. I've been running this shit since the jump, and you're gonna just give it to your homeboy, you piece of crap?
Let's make my Vanguard. take that. More ballistic skill. I'll take that one. Yeah, sure, I'll take that. Sure. Not everyone. No, I think I missed Abelard. Yup. More parry and armor always seems good. Why are there two options both to return to the void ship? That's a little weird. Maybe it's just a glitch. Wouldn't surprise me. How's this? Trader gets +1 deflection, 3% hit chance.
Terrible news from Dargonis, Lord Captain. The subsidiary hive city, Skypo, fucking whatever that is, 84249, has been destroyed in a series of cascading failures. Production has halted, and millions of people have broken their vows of obedience and are fleeing. Many of them are perishing in the wastelands and overloading the transport lines, leading to neighboring hives. The surrounding residual sectors are becoming increasingly agitated by the influx of refugees. What is your directive the distribution of these refugees. What is the cause of the catastrophe? It is still unclear. The noble houses are throwing the blame at one another. Agents of the venerable Achilles Scalander, stationed on Skyapine 84249, died heroically while trying to save the population from this disaster. Their final reports mentioned some vulnerabilities in the industrial sector of the lower hive, but did not go into further detail. Additionally, all of your servants are currently busy with investigating the causes of the crises, but are not doing anything to deal with its consequences. What say my advisors? The death of Achilles' agents troubles me. It may not be a coincidence. Until the cause of the disaster can be concretely established, I would avoid letting refugees into other hives. There may be saboteurs among them. I recommend setting up prohibitive cordons where the refugees can be contained in the wasteland between hives. The Emperor bids us to face the often cruel strokes of fate with dignity. If the other hives do not wish to accept the unfortunate victims of this tragedy, then let the victims themselves teach those living in the hives a lesson in resilience and humility. I'm sure that the ecclesiarchy will aid the refugees in constructing camps to survive out in the wastelands and establish a community of proud, desert-dwelling martyrs. Such harsh conditions will be a crucible of fortitude and fearlessness, this tragedy a feat of spirit. The noble houses are trying to wash their hands of this. How predictable. And yet it is their duty to see to it that the planet meets its tithe obligation and brings glory and revenue to the treasury in your absence. Let the aristocrats take care of the refugees, and make sure they don't stop until every last refugee has some task to fulfill. Decreases enemy critical damage by 15. Enemy killed in battle. +2 momentum for each. That's terrible. And this is the +1 deflection, +3 hit chance. I mean, deflection is so good to have. Decreasing crit damage, though, is also really nice. We go with this one. He who dares to remain deaf to the pleas of the destitute shall be branded a traitor to the faith. Large labor settlements were set up around the ruins of Scipione 84249 to where the refugees from the wastelands and neighboring hives have been rounded up. In the harsh wastelands scorched with industrial poison, with only a bare modicum of food and clean water, the settlement residents began the arduous and dangerous task of rebuilding their fallen home. Many of the ecclesiarchy's priests sought to share in this burden with the poor souls coming to their villages and preaching to them about the righteousness of hard work. Some pastors have even chosen to stay in the camps permanently, where the desert cults of Aconite martyrs have begun to gather around them, glorifying the Lord Captain for granting them the right to suffer for the glory of the God Emperor. +5 to all their skills. I mean, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer.
want Shield of the Emperor, so I need Promethium and Plasteel. Okay, well that's sorted. Kind of made a mad dash over here. Could go deal with Janus, and then well, let's see, let's go to a nearby system and see if we can't find those, the things we need.
Lord Captain, the Vox systems intercepted a distress signal coming from an Imperial vessel. The system contains a ship that belongs to the planetary fleet of Dargonis, and the capital of the Von Valentius dynasty. The transmission is repeated at regular intervals, but the message itself is corrupted, a cacophony of requests for help, groans and shouts. What in the world? It is your name they are shouting, Lord Captain.
Okay. That will get me the Plasteel I need. I have to go on board. Uh-oh. That's never a good sign. Oh, that doesn't look good.
I feel my age when fighting alongside such young warriors.
Indeed. While I
Oh,
have
it's a
my
bunch of
navigator
mutants.
skills to call upon, you are, statistically speaking, far more likely to perish in battle. Oh, I mean, that came out wrong.
Another battle demands our attention.
All of you will bleed!
And Mabelar is able to just fucking fly in the battle. Pascal, I'll leave you here. You go here, and Kybella will get the rear for any dipshits that move up on us.
If I may, me. If you insist, Lord Captain. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
so done. One step ahead. Easy. They won't expect a costly mistake. Let's set this in motion. That's how it's done.
I serve the ruinous powers! For your life!
Well done.
For the weak. I refuse. As the Emperor
There we go.
faith without deeds is worthless. As the Emperor commands, I act. I'll do it.
Done and done.
You are my next offering!
My ears are ringing.
I know what to do. You clearly are outmatched. That is how it's done. Yet still standing. For the dynasty. Contemplate your weakness. Done and done.
Okay, we got 2 over there. 3 more this way.
Easy. I won't do that. They won't expect this. Let's set this in motion. I know what to do. Easy. I said, so done. Let's set this in motion. That is how it's done.
I will leave footprints of scarlet. Come, the other side awaits.
Request denied. Explorators know one route. Forward. My vow is to serve.
Step aside. The navigator is coming. I'm afraid not. I am a navigator.
Is it just that one over there? It is.
God Emperor, move through me! Be the fire in my heart! That is not the Emperor's will. As the Emperor commands. Eradicated.
Brace yourself, Abelard.
Does something trouble you, Lord Captain?
What advice do you seek?
All souls cry out for salvation. Consider that off limits. Brace yourself.
I'm grateful.
Marching ahead.
Alrighty.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
5 willpower, 10 perception. Where's all enemies' perception by the wearer's fellowship bonus? Within a 5-cell radius. I think that's alright.
Forge ahead. Never linger.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Why can't I click on this? There's gotta be a way to click on you. Come on, come on.
Venture forth.
Nope. Oh shit. So things have been going well in here, I see. The leader of the ravaged ship's crew wipes the sweat from his brow in a motion characteristic of navigators, not with his whole hand, but with 2 fingers moving from left to right and back so as not to touch his third eye by accident. This movement is the only sign of fatigue he allows himself. His posture is immaculate. Shoulders wide, eyes front, as if he did not just emerge from a grueling battle and is simply greeting you on the bridge of an uneventful day.
My greetings, your lordship. There is no need for introductions. I know the heirs of the Von Valancius line by sight. I am Han of House Cassini, the navigator on this vessel, and as the senior surviving officer, I assume command after the incident. Lady Navigator, what an unexpected and pleasant meeting, considering the circumstances.
Han decorously dips his head to Cassia.
I have not had the honor of being personally acquainted with you, but of course I know the emblem of House Ocelio. How fares the Honorable Regent?
Cassia Ocelio, she offers a reserved nod. Cordiality will not disguise the ice-blue coldness of your words, Navigator Han. However, I will tell Regent Eranto that you inquired after his health. You may pass on my best wishes to Novator Cassini. And now, let's set the pleasantries aside. I'm sure the rogue trader would like to ask you a few questions. As Han speaks, others glare at you with dour attention. Up close, you can plainly see that every one of them is a mutant. Their faces and bodies bear the mark of incredibly grotesque deformities, the same as the muttering madmen who attacked you. However, Han's associates seem perfectly clear-eyed, showing no signs of madness. What happened to the ship and your crew, Han?
This ship is assigned to the port of Dargonis. Some time ago, the captain was instructed to deliver a package, urgently, by hand, to you, your lordship. We were even shown a pict of your face.
Navigator's voice seems calm, yet there is tension in his eyes, which are trained on you.
A disaster struck during the warp jump. I will never know all the details, as I was preoccupied with my primary duties.
Oh my fucking god, I can't stop yawning.
But for some reason, the captain decided to open the package. That, as you may have noticed, had a most destructive impact on the crew. Package contained a chaos artifact, a chaos bomb, if you will. The moment it was removed from its protective cocoon, the crew began to lose their mind and mutate. The first to be afflicted was the captain and the senior officers. But the effect spread with incredible speed. Every deck was consumed by it. Every last one. The raging mutants, no longer sane, damaged many systems. The ship was in distress and would have almost certainly been destroyed had I not resorted to making an emergency exit from the warp. The people you see here are the only survivors, or rather, the only ones who were able to retain both their lives and sanity. I gathered everyone I could, isolated the source of danger, and sent out a distress signal. We were adrift, waiting for help to come and fighting off mad crew members. Then you arrived.
Were you not affected by the mutations and madness?
Well, that depends. I was born a mutant, you see.
Han smiles grimly and warily.
Navigators are taught to resist the influence of chaos, so I have been, as best I could. But I will be frank with you. I cannot be certain that I avoided it completely. There have been no visible indications, yet.
All signs point to Han telling the truth, but you also notice clear evidence of just how difficult it is for him to struggle against the corruption. He's extremely tired, practically exhausted. So the Chaos Bomb package was meant for me. Who's the sender?
As far as I'm aware, the order came from Kunrad Voitvir, the Master of Whispers in the Rogue Trader's retinue. It is likely that he arranged the delivery, either personally or through intermediaries.
Abelard's face turns a deep puce. That blasted traitor beat us to Dargonis and is now free to act with impunity. It would not surprise me to find out that this was the work of sorcery. How else could he have reached the world in such a short time? And pauses, then adds bluntly, almost brazenly,
Your reaction suggests that you were not expecting a package of this sort. That is good to know. I had almost convinced myself that the rogue trader was deliberately collecting chaos artifacts.
I'm not tainted by chaos, and I knew nothing of this package. I give you my word as rogue trader.
He gives you a searching look, then bows his head. I beg your pardon, your lordship. I saw the terrible death of the entire crew with my own eyes. I was forced to bring the ship out of warp by means of an emergency maneuver, and then I had to fight my former comrades, insane and twisted. I am tired.
Yeah, I get that.
However, the sender wanted all of this.
Han makes a sweeping gesture at the destruction and the corpses of crew members around him.
Happened to your ship, not ours.
Where's the artifact now? %. The tension in his posture and gaze becomes even more noticeable.
I've placed it inside a protective sarcophagus, more reliable than the previous repository. Unfortunately, an artifact as powerful as this one could not be destroyed under these circumstances, or rather, I had no assurances that it would not disintegrate every one of us and scatter us across several light hours of neighboring space. But once we are off the ship, I will absolutely find a way to destroy the vile thing.
We could lay mines in what remains of the ship and blast it along with the artifact from a safe distance. I have the resources and knowledge to do it. Your words give Han pause, but he seems convinced. He relaxes a little, but then asks cautiously, as if testing the waters.
What about me and the crew? Will you take us with you?
I'm taking you aboard my ship. There, my word is law. No one will dare to take issue with you, despite the mutations.
Thank you.
And salutes you before adding,
Lord Captain.
Onward to victory.
huh, I wonder if goods are just bugged on this ship. It's weird.
Onward to victory.
Ah, well. Just how it be sometimes.
Let's see this through.
Holy. Didn't I have 7 before? Did it give me 10 just from that? Jesus. Uh-oh. Why is it suddenly just taking me to the Void Ship Bridge? That's never a good sign. Uh-huh. So now that happens. You guys, why didn't you tell me you installed those red Kool-Aid pumps that I wanted? Sourback, how could you let this happen? An assassination attempt upon the rogue trader in his own chambers, right under the nose of your enforcers? Fierce growl rumbles deep in Abelard's throat. The Master-at-Arms radiates grim fury. Her eyes are dark, her lips pursed. With a practiced hand, she removes the maul from her belt and offers it to you. An unforgivable error. I accept full responsibility and ask for due punishment. Everyone makes mistakes, I pardon you. Sourback hesitates for a moment before putting the maul away. Our approaches to discipline differ radically. You are too magnanimous, Lord Captain. In that case, I will give my report. All adjacent decks have been isolated. We've begun our search for the culprit, and have set up investigation quarters on the officer's deck. The substance has been analyzed and confirmed to be blood containing traces of major mutations. While it poses no risk of infection to your lordship, the very presence of such genetic aberration on board is a serious threat to the safety of the ship and must be addressed promptly. Once word of this gets out, many among the crew will surely see it as a brazen challenge to your status as rogue traitor. What genetic aberration? The heresy of mutation. Mutants are vicious beasts who sow only ruin and death. They are devoid of all humanity, and the vile blood that runs through their veins feeds their unclean thoughts and urges. Numerous accounts speak of entire colonies falling prey to bloody uprisings staged by these creatures, all because their governors were too squeamish to order genetic purges. You don't say. I wonder why somebody we don't consider human and exterminate by the thousands would think to result. What a crazy mystery. Uh-huh. Alas, the Imperium's enemies are not limited only to those within its midst. Mutants can become a considerable threat, especially when given the chance to organize. The heretics have revealed themselves and are eager to fight, then fight we shall. Let the vessel be purged of their filth. Could this have been an assassination attempt? Then they would have filled the bath with acid or poison instead. There are easier ways to kill someone than drowning them in blood, as foul as that blood may be. What do you intend to do next? As one, every enforcer present gets on their knees. Lord Captain, this incident has cast a shadow on our honor. We only ask for one thing, a chance to absolve ourselves of our guilt. Allow me to head to the officer's deck at once, so that I may lead the investigation personally. Lord Captain, on a previous occasion, it was your intervention that resolved a matter that my own rigidity had once succeeded in making worse. Had only succeeded in making worse. With all due respect to Mistress Sourback, perhaps she would benefit from your fresh perspective. Seneschal, do you think so little of me that you would rob me of my chance to defend my honor? I will handle the investigation myself. If they wish to challenge me, then I shall take the matters into my own hands. You see a look of horror in Sourback's eyes. Lord Captain, I implore you, this was my mistake. If you rectify it for me, I will be disgraced. Could it ever be a disgrace to face a challenge shoulder to shoulder with your lord? I had not considered it like that. Your resolve is commendable. I will await your arrival at the headquarters on the officer's deck to brief you on our current progress. Okay, well, there goes what I was gonna do, just gone into the toilet. Now we're gonna do DLC shenanigans.